All right, we got two waiting. Sorry for the technicalities. We're working on it. Looks weird, I know.
Okay, we go. Hope everybody can find this stream.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope that'll be successful.
Because what happened, folks, is we were traveling and away from our computer, and we set our live up from the house. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to get that going. Let me get your phone.
Still waiting. It says we have 3 waiting. Welcome in if you can see me. Welcome in. Still waiting. Technicalities. Welcome. Waiting on the technicalities. Don't leave us. Hang in there. We're working on it. Is it going live on there?
Yep, we got
Well,
folks
we've got
watching.
live, but look up here.
Yeah, the scheduled live, we weren't able to get it up. So I apologize for that. I mean, we're on live, but we
Am I picking the right? There we go.
I don't think that's going to work.
It still says, now it says 2 waiting.
Here, let me see.
For some reason, our live is not connecting with our live. Like, I don't know how to say it.
There we go. We got 6 folks watching.
There we go.
After commercials.
Right.
You gotta love YouTube, folks.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for finding this live.
Yes.
We originally scheduled from our computer at home, and it did not.
Sorry, we got to set this up so we can see comments. There we go.
Oh, you got to be signed in to see comments on
Oh,
that.
you do? Oh my goodness. Guys, we're so sorry.
No, they can comment. We just can't.
We just can't see it.
Yeah, you got to go on your phone to do it.
Oh, okay. So I can't sign in on there.
See, this is old people in technology.
Yes, definitely.
But we are coming to you live from Florida. We are in a small town called Defuniak Springs.
Florida.
I said Florida.
Okay.
Clean them ears out, Bill. But we're glad you tuned in. What I was trying to say earlier, we scheduled our live from our computer, and you can't go into that scheduled live when you are on the road, unless we
Sorry, guys.
brought our computer with us, which we didn't. So we had to start a new live, and I hope the couple folks that were over waiting on the other one found this. You're free to comment. I think there's a live chat going on.
She said, I can see you and see you on my iPad, but not my TV. Interesting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I wonder what that is.
I'm not sure. It may have something to do with, I don't know. I'm not the technical expert on that, but we did want to do this live. We have been promising it for a while, and we'll get better the more lives we do, because we just stink at it right now.
That's funny.
but we wanted to do a question and answer, and we have promised, and this was Tammy's idea, that every time we hit 500 subscribers, we were going to give away a prize.
Right.
And we hit 500 subscribers just a short while ago, so we had had a prize to give away. So before we had time to do that, you guys just jumped in, went crazy, and boom, next thing you know, we're at 1,000 subscribers. So now we are having to give away for our second time. And we're just going to combo it together tonight into one. The next thing you know, before the week is over, with your support and sharing of our videos, we'll probably be at 1,500 subscribers before Thanksgiving. And we thank you so much for that. That's amazing. We appreciate everybody.
We do.
And as tough as it is, I try to respond to every comment. I hope you guys that are watching get your comments responded to, because I sat there last night. We got home late, and I sat there till probably, 10:30, 11 o'clock?
Right.
Catching up on comments that I hadn't responded to. But if it's nothing but a little heart from us or a thumbs up, you're going to get a response. So we appreciate that. And you keep me up to date on what's going on there.
Okay, so Roman is watching, and
What's up, Roman?
Kathy Taylor's watching, and Mama774 is watching. Hi, everybody.
And Roman is a gentleman.
And hi, everyone else.
There you go. Roman is a gentleman that worked with us on the last couple videos you saw with the tiny home, the steel structure with the framing, and the log cabins, the Stony Creek log cabins. So all their information is in our description of those videos if you want to check any more things out. We got a community page going with some pictures and things like that, contact information. So support those guys if you're in the area. If you got questions, just give them a call. Be happy to help you out. So we did get some emailed questions, believe it or not. And we wanted to kind of go through the questions. I only got 5 or 6, and we're going to try to keep this to as short as possible, because we have another video coming up. We came to Florida. We found a tiny house, right?
Right, we're in it right now.
We're in it right now. What did we do before we started our live?
We recorded the exterior and the interior, yes.
Yep. We went around, did a video of this tiny house. And
I'm sorry.
Go.
It is an Airbnb, though. I think you might have said that in the earlier part of this video, but
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a different thing. You can't buy this one.
Yeah, this was not for sale, but the reason we do this is we are hoping to move towards the tiny home thing, but we like to see as many as we can. So, and we like to explore other options. So,
and get a feel for the space, as tiny as it may be.
So if you're going to go tiny and you're not tiny, try it out. Get an Airbnb somewhere. Go visit somebody you know that's got a Airbnb, and just check it all out.
Mama774 says you're on my TV. Woohoo! Thank you, Mama774.
But
and hi, Kathy Nolan.
But we are staying here tonight, and then we're going a little bit south. There's a park model manufacturer there, and the more we learn about tiny homes, we look at different ones and different things, and we're just in the learning stage, and we're bringing you guys along for the ride. And what we try to do when we go to visit these Airbnbs and things like that is try to give you guys an idea of what all kinds of people have done in their tiny homes. What are they doing? How do they handle this problem? How do they handle storage? You know, what do they do? And even if you're thinking about buying a tiny home and Airbnb in it, you can get some ideas for decorating or whatever it may be. Whether you want to think about layout, how to get good ratings, things like that, because we do a lot of Airbnbs as well. But our biggest thing here is this is a single story, so I don't have to climb up and down the loft 3 times a night.
Yes, definitely. Although lofts are really cool, specifically if they have normal stairs, right?
Yeah, normal stair
Uh-huh.
lofts are our favorite. But let's jump right into the Q&A. And if you guys didn't have a chance to email us with your questions, just pop them in the chat. That'd be great if you could do that. Our first question is, do we have land in mind for our own tiny home? You go ahead.
Well, we haven't started actively looking for land because we have projects to tie up at our own house. We have a ending part of our kitchen renovation and some bathrooms that we want to modify.
Mm-hmm.
Just vanities and some flooring. Maybe a modification to the floor plan. We don't know. That's just kind of an unknowner, isn't it?
It's a good idea. We'll talk about it in another video, but yeah, we haven't gotten ready to sell our house yet. We've talked about that in off and on a little bit in some of the videos, but we do have, if we stay in Alabama, we do have a general area that we'd like to look in because it's going to be kind of centrally located to where our kids are. And when we're talking about our kids, no offense to anybody that might be listening in my family, I ain't really talking about my kids. I'm talking about my grandkids. I love my little grandkids. We've got 3 grandkids, and no, I love my kids too. But I'm just saying they're all going to be kind of centrally located eventually within a 30-mile radius, and we have an idea where we want to look for land. There's a lot of considerations for that we'll get into with the second and third and fourth question. The second question, will we stay in Alabama?
That's the question of the century, I think. We have moved quite a few times, guys. If you don't know or if you're not familiar with us, we met in Virginia. He's from West Virginia. We moved from Virginia to South Carolina. Then we moved to Michigan. Then we moved to California. Hi, Stan. Then we moved to Florida. And we moved to different parts of Florida because we love Florida so much. And then we moved back to Virginia for a while. Mm-hmm. And now we're in Alabama.
Yep. And the another question was, how long have we lived in Alabama? We moved here in January of 2014. Or actually not here because we're in Florida. But we moved to Alabama in January of 2014. And we kind of made Alabama our home. All 3 of our children live there, all 3 of our grandchildren, and our 2 son-in-laws. Everybody lives in Alabama. That's in our immediate family. So it's kind of our home now. But there's always the opportunity to go somewhere else with job situations and things like that. But for right now, we've got our feet firmly planted in Alabama. Another question we had.
Did we actually answer the question, will we stay in Alabama?
Not 100%. We're kind of firmly planted in Alabama, but I had a call today from a company up in the Northeast, and they're looking for somebody that has my qualifications. And I'm semi-retired now, and I don't know if I want to jump back into the jobs, the high stress, high responsibility jobs, or if I don't. So if I get a job offer after a series of interviews, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, and it'll be after a lot of prayerful consideration and a lot of discussions with our family. We've already mentioned the opportunity to our family, and everybody's like, go for it, you only live once, and you guys need to, I'm 56, I've got a good 10 years of income savings and building wealth until I decide to fully retire. So it may be something we decide to do. I don't know. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Does that better answer that question?
I think it does.
That's as honest as I can get with you.
Sorry guys if I'm looking all over the place. I'm trying to figure out why this Airbnb TV is not turning on so we can see your questions a little easier.
It's a power button. You hit the
I
power
know.
button.
It says, it's a system of 1 horsepower. I'm having some old people problems, guys. Excuse
now,
me.
we did have a question. I'll answer this one easy. One of the questions was, if you get a tiny home, are you going to build a garage to put all your toys. And a lot of you know from watching, if you're Uber fans of us and watch a lot of our videos, we have 2 Harley Davidson motorcycles. I have a 2-wheeler. She loves the trike. We have 2 electric bikes. They're Aventon ran. We've done reviews of Aventons on our channel, and we have a lot of tools because we remodel all the time, and we're always painting or fixing something or whatever. So, and I have a bunch of guitars. I haven't even really showcased my guitars on the channel, but we're going to have some type of storage, because whether it's building a garage, but more than likely our experience has really been good with the sheds. And that's why we show you guys sheds, because there's a group of people out there that convert these sheds to tiny homes. And if you can do that, we can get a shed, convert it to a nice garage, and even put a little section of it for a music studio. So there's a lot of opportunities. When you put your mind to it, you can do about anything. So yes, we will have to have some type of garage.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good one. Is Alabama tiny home friendly?
A lot of it is, I think. Don't you think?
I would say Alabama is one of the most tiny home friendly places you can find. Certain parts of Alabama that are growing and
Upscale.
It's a little more difficult to get your tiny homes permitted and things like that, and the regulations are difficult. But for the most part, and I'll give you an example. Huntsville, Alabama is one of the highest or fastest growing areas in the South. And Huntsville is just booming. It is, different surveys word things different, but it's actually one of the fastest growing cities in the South. It's the place to be. I know because I did construction related to Huntsville, and it was just all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But Incredible Tiny Homes is partnering with a company just outside of Huntsville, and they're building another tiny home community. It's going to be a beautiful place. So the restrictions are less. Now the county we live in, which is what we were talking about, we had in mind where we wanted our land, we're not going to be able to do tiny homes in our county that we live in. We live in Shelby County, which is one of the fastest growing counties in Alabama, probably the second. And the regulations are a lot more strict. And we know that from talking to a tiny home builder who's just down the street from us.
Okay, we have a question here. Kathy Taylor said, I found you recently a few days ago. So curious, when you continue to do walkthrough on tiny homes, if you could mention if they have an air exchanger. So it's not, she's just asking us if we could mention that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If it has air exchanger.
Absolutely. Like the one we're in now, it does not have an air exchanger. It's just got 2 window unit air conditioners, and that's it. And I haven't even seen any provision for heating other than probably a space heater tucked away somewhere, because we're in Florida and it's not going to get that terribly hot. But yeah, we'd be glad to mention that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Roman ask, considering y'all's experience in tiny houses, would y'all be interested in designing a tiny house for our next tiny house shed build?
Man, we were talking about that. I saw your comment, Roman. I would love to do that. In fact,
actually 2 thumbs up. Look at
yeah.
that.
In fact, we actually started a design about 2 weeks ago. Because we were talking about things we would love to have, and we talked about our favorite things, must-haves, things we couldn't live without, and the things we needed, and the things we absolutely didn't want. So Tammy sat down and she started drawing it up, her ideas, and I'm more of the draftsman guy. I get out the scale and the pencils and the angles and the protractor, and I do all the finalized type of stuff. But we would love to do that, and we might shoot you just a sketch of that and let you take a look at it. We'd love to do that, just to get us an idea of what kind of numbers we would be looking at. Absolutely.
It may be themed on a castle.
Yeah. If you go back and watch a video or two back, what we would love to have in a tiny house or something. I forget what we titled it, but she starts talking about a castle and turrets and I said, well, if you're going to put a turret in, we're going to put those little square things across the top so I can sit up there with my bow and arrow and just shoot from the roof of the building and anybody that's attacking us. And then we're going to build a moat and a drawbridge.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But she's got some ideas floating, but we would love to, man. We'll give you a call in the next few days and we can talk about it.
Sure, that'd be great.
All right, I got another last question on my list from the email. Who do you ask about legalities or if you can put a tiny home somewhere? And a lot of that depends on where you live, what state you live in, and all those things. But I would say your first resource, if you live in the city or the county, which you're either going to live in one or both, is to go to your county commission, planning commission, and maybe even your building department. And most counties nowadays, we were in a rural county in somewhere, and I thought these people will never have a website. And I looked them up, and sure enough, the county had a website. So most counties have websites. So if you live in, Fayette County, West Virginia, shout out. Just go on the internet and type in Fayette County, West Virginia, and you should find in the search your county's homepage. And then you can go through there, and you'll find your zoning commission, your planning commission, your building department, all those people. You can click and find a phone number. If you don't like emailing, pick up the phone, just call them and start talking about tiny houses. Now, there's so many definitions of tiny houses, and we get them mixed up sometimes, and I apologize. But there are park models, which in most places are considered RVs, and those rules and regulations, like in Alabama, you can live full-time in an RV pretty much anywhere you want except one or two counties.
But there is a max size for a park model.
Right, max sizes. There's max sizes for being able to haul them down the road with and without permits, and just so many things like that. And I'm not the expert in that. There's a couple folks in here that maybe not in our live right now, but in our comments that seem to have some expertise on that. And
more than a couple.
Yeah, and we're going to go in and eventually do an all-encompassing thing. It's hard to do, and I'll tell you this because I'll give you an example. I work construction, and as Tammy said, we've lived in Virginia, West Virginia, South Carolina. We've lived 8 or 9 different places. In California.
Florida.
Everywhere I lived, the requirements and specifications for doing my type of construction was different. And it was even different in some instances just from county to county or city to city. And the same applies to tiny homes. Definitions might be loosely said, a tiny home is anything under 500 square feet. Yes, and that might be the definition in your head, my head, everybody else's head. But you go to certain places, and that definition might change. There might be a cutoff. Like a park model cutoff is 400 square feet. That's a tiny house. It's just a park model, but it's technically a tiny RV on wheels. And they state very plainly, not intended for full-time residents.
Right.
But in Alabama, you could set up a park model and stay as much as you want in most places. But it all varies. So if you want to find out about your local stuff, do your research and your homework before you commit to tiny homes by any means, or RVs, or park models, or mobile homes for that matter. And we are looking at everything. I mean, we're just exploring our options. Because for us, Tammy's mentioned it before, we've got a pretty good sized house that we don't need.
Right.
So anything we go down from that significantly, what did I say my trademark was? It's a tinier home. It's a tinier house.
Right.
So it's not necessarily fitting everybody's definition of tiny home, but it's still tiny. Now we'll take some more comments or questions from the comments because I'm out of questions.
B. Jones says, example on owned land. When we dug our well 15 years ago, it was right at 15,000. We checked recently and it has literally doubled. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of that happens, and it the economy really kind of got like that when we all went through the pandemic. The price of building materials, because I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, we were doing some projects around the house, and we went to Lowe's and a 2x4 tripled in price.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, goodness gracious. So it's affected our economy in many ways, and is still affecting us, and a lot of it has to do with retaining employees and how much you have to pay for people, and minimum wages going up in some places, and a lot of the well stuff depends on whether you need an artesian or a deep well, how deep it has to go, all those things. But if you, it can be pricey. I mean, you have to weigh that if you were thinking about a community, like a tiny home community, and buying in, like with whatever they call seed money or key money, you're literally just paying so that you get those sewer and water hookups and electricity, so you can basically hook your home up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to pay, of course, rental fees on that lot as time goes on, versus the cost of clearing land, the cost of digging a well, the cost of digging a septic, the cost of getting the power over to your home, and all those things. Unless you want to go off grid, that's another option.
B. Jones says, oh yeah, ours is a deep well.
Oh boy, yeah. So yeah, I think yours when you grew up was artesian, right?
No.
Oh no.
It was a standard well.
Standard well, how deep?
It was very deep.
Very deep. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I just know my dad always would yell at us if we tried to go and sit on the well cap.
Because you're going to fall through.
That's what he always thought. He thought that concrete was just going to give way. And I don't think it ever did, but
Yeah,
well, obviously, because we're still here.
We're still here. We had a deep well too when I was growing up, and it was probably 200 feet deep, I want to say. Because we lived up on top of a mountain. Wasn't really a mountain, but it was a great big hill, and it was known locally as Church Hill. And literally, when you were at the bottom of the hill on the road, you had to kind of go up. It was probably a good 40-degree angle to get up to the top of the hill, and that's where our well was. But down at the bottom, I'm trying to stay in the camera here, down at the bottom, the water table was at least double that down to the water table, because there was a pond down there that we used to go fishing at and picking strawberries and blackberries and all that stuff, and we had a super deep well, and I wouldn't know, I wouldn't even have an idea how much that thing would cost nowadays to drill.
B. Jones says they live about 30 minutes from ITH.
Oh, cool.
Pretty
Okay.
neat. So a Newporter-ish.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe outskirts of Newport too.
Yeah, maybe Knoxville, somewhere like that. So he didn't have to tell us where he lives, or she.
And then Heatherstone says, on 16 acres in the country, have natural spring. Hope to put a tiny home in the back of the property.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, that does sound nice. And then B. Jones says, would have loved to have met you all when you were here. Do you see that?
I'm blinded by the
Came
light.
across
Blinded
your
by
channel
the
due to
light.
Vivian. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome,
Nice,
guys.
nice.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, if you're in that area, you might run into Vivian at some time. You can either go to Wendy's when she's getting her Frosty, or you can go to Walmart when she's camping out.
But you already know she's headed to Florida now, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Not sure if she's in Florida tonight. We'll see, I guess.
Yep, but yeah, Viv's been a big help to us. She boosted our channel quite a bit. We just fell in love with her, and we decided we were going to go up there. We were on a trip to Virginia to go see Tammy's family because there was a death in the family, and we said, well, let's just stop by Vivian's shop because we knew where it was from watching the videos, and we'll just buy some things to support her. Well, we went in, we started getting these things. I went up to the front. The lady's like, well, you got everything at Vivian's. I said, yep. I said, that's why we're here. And I told her the whole story, how we love her, how we watch her on YouTube. She picked up the phone.
She is a sweetheart.
She called Vivian, and she said, you got to get over here. These people need to meet you. So Vivian came over. We talked to her about, I don't know, 45 minutes. We got to meet Sammy. I didn't get to pet him because he was about ready to chomp my fingers off. But he is a good guard dog for her.
He is, which is a good thing.
Yep.
And let's see, Roman asked, what is y'all's dream and goals once you get your own land and downsize?
That's a good question. I think
we want to retire.
Yeah,
I mean, like
that's the number
permanently.
one thing.
We're semi-retired now, and that means something totally different than full-fledged retire and feel more secure. You know,
I agree. I mean, I would just love, if I had my way and my dream, I would just do YouTube all the time because I just love doing this. I love going places, traveling, taking videos. I'm not real comfortable being on camera. Somebody made a comment on one of the videos last night that said I have a very soothing, calming voice, and I commented back, yeah, but I got a face for radio. So I'm not real comfortable looking at myself on the screen, and I really don't like my own voice, but I just enjoy the technical side. We went to the Canopy, which we talked about in our video yesterday, which is a new apartment complex, and they were having a little shindig because it's grand opening, and there were people there from Live Nation because across the street from the Canopy is the Oak Mountain Amphitheater, which is a music venue, and Live Nation was there, and I said, what are you guys giving away? Because I wanted something free, you know. So, but they said, no, we're here signing up people for jobs. And I got to talking to them, and finally the guy's like, you need to be behind the scenes doing production, hooking up guitars, hooking up amplifiers, putting in lights and doing all. And I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy the technical side of files and doing things like, I'm not patient with editing. She's the editor.
But he's always been forced to be a public speaker, not just with churches. He's preached like substitute preaching a long time ago, and then he's done a lot of speeches with his different jobs that he's carried throughout his life and career.
Yeah, I've always had to be the one that gets up in front of people and talks, and I'm okay with that. But I'm it is what it is.
But the most notable thing is what it was it a couple years ago? We came down here to Florida for some sort of Alabama DOT something. Was it Alabama DOT?
No, that was you getting mixed up with the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wherever you went to, he spoke in front of the Alabama governor, so that was kind of neat that he got to speak. On the podium in front of the governor.
It was a conference, yes. And it was in a hotel, and there's a bunch of different rooms and a bunch of different speakers, and I think the governor just peeked in each one for a little bit, but I was up there just yakking my brains out about my field of expertise at the time. And you go ahead, I'm talking too much, my throat's getting
So
dry.
have we really answered the question, what is our dreams and goals once you get your own land and downsize?
Man, Roman, I'll tell you, just another goal I got is just to be able to meet the Lord someday. That's the biggest goal I got in my life. And it's a long, hard road.
Right. My goal is just to live. Like, I've had cancer twice and beat it 2 times, and they told me in 2015 that I had a total of 5 years to live, and I told them, only God knows. So if you believe in God, then, maybe you understand what I'm talking about, but
Yeah,
But
all the old people things you don't get to do when you're working all the time. Travel a little bit, hang out with the grandkids. That's one of the funnest things in the world for us to do. Spend time with them. Um, Sit back. I'd like to get a banjo someday and just sit back on the front porch of a little tiny home and just play some bluegrass, or something. But
and I don't know. I guess you guys maybe have never heard, or maybe I have said. I used to be a gardener, and I love to garden. But now that I broke my knee, things have changed. Like, I used to watch tons and tons and tons of homesteading videos, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be a homesteader, and I'm going to have a tractor like my daddy had, and go out and plow the fields and just put in all kinds of cool organic produce." And then I fell in January and broke my knee, and it's amazing what just one knee break can do to your plans.
oh yeah,
It can totally destroy them, can it, dear?
B. Jones, parents live in Alabama. That's cool. In the north, central, south.
Yeah, where? Well, where-ish. You don't have to say exactly, but also he says, B. Jones says, I have a small YouTube channel that shows some travel around.
Oh, okay. Well, everybody go over and check out B. Jones' channel. We will definitely go and subscribe.
Yes, we will.
And I mentioned it yesterday. If anybody's got a channel you want shouted out, we're not like the biggest YouTube people on the planet, but we'd be glad to in a couple of our videos. We got a video coming up, and I mentioned this, where we're going to talk about all our favorite YouTube channels. And if you want to shout out, just let us know.
Speaking of subscribe, Roman Richardson, he's a pretty cool builder.
You've been
and
talking to him.
Yes, I know you're listening. He's a pretty cool builder, so guys, go and subscribe to his channel and check out our video or two videos that we've had of his tiny home build that he's in the middle of, and his cabin builds.
Yep.
And what's the name of his business? Sorry guys, this is a hard one. Roman, can you tell us?
SSPB.
SSPB.
Solid
Okay,
Structures
okay.
Portable Buildings.
Sorry, that's what chemotherapy does to you. It just kind of kills the brain cells,
But and Roman, I've had 3 or 4 people comment that they really like those little dog houses. So I tried to clarify that those were just mock-ups that you took somewhere to show off. But anyway, long story short, we're 38 minutes in, and I want to keep this to probably 45 minutes.
Do you really?
Well, unless you want to just keep talking.
Okay.
Got any more questions?
We don't have any more questions.
All right.
Is there anything we want to talk about ourselves? Like tell them about ourselves that
Man, I done
they
told
don't already
everybody
know?
everything. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I think we're good then.
Do you got anything to say? What do you want to say about yourself?
I guess I'm drawing a blank at the moment, but
Yeah,
it's funny that I brought that up and now I don't have anything
You
to
don't
say.
have an answer. No, just keep watching, subscribing. We appreciate it. Hit those like buttons. That helps us a lot. And all the comments, like I say, we try our best.
Oh.
Maybe one day we'll get so big we can't answer all the comments, and I'll just hire somebody to do it. I'm just kidding, but no, I enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoy watching, and I hope we can, like I said, we're going to focus on tiny homes, but we're also going to focus on a few other topics, because we started out the channel thinking 50 plus life is what we wanted to do. And then you start searching the names, and we came up with 360 because we wanted to give a wide view of a lot of things old people like us do.
And it's just weird how 360 refers to like when you're 20 and things are different when you're 20, and then you change into your 30s and suddenly you totally, change and morph into something else in your 30s, and then 40s come along, you morph into something else.
Yeah.
So we're totally like doing the circle of life every 10 years. We're changing circles and patterns of our life.
Yeah, see,
And
yeah, that's
with aches
crazy.
and pains, we're kind of moving towards more and more aches and pains. So,
And it's funny. I made the statement one time. If you know anything about little babies when they're born or when they're in the womb, their heartbeat is like 140 beats a minute. And the sad news is it just keeps slowing down, until you just keel over. But the truth is we're becoming what we weren't in our 20s, because we were raising children in our 20s and we were strict and disciplined and everything. Now we got grandkids and we're like, oh, it ain't gonna hurt the poor fella to eat another ice cream cone or another piece of candy. What are you, and their parents are just like, please, I'm trying to have some, structure with these children. So we're just flipping our life around, but
to the parents, they have their own set of rules. So,
yeah,
those are rules that we have to follow.
yeah, we have to respect.
Or we're going to be the bad grandparents.
Yeah. But
Our old school ways and their new ways are quite different, aren't they, dear?
Yeah, I tell that story about our grandson. He's almost 4. They called us yesterday and he said, Nana, Papa, what you doing? And I forget what we said. I think we said we were just sitting around the house or doing something. And he told his mom, he says, I want to go to Nana Papa's house. And she says, no, buddy, you can't, because your car seat is in your dad's car and your dad is at work. And he sat there for a second, and then I heard him say, Mama, I want to call Daddy. Said he want to call Daddy and say, come, bring the car seat so I can go all the way back to Nana and Papa's house. But it's so cool to have little ones that aren't yours, that love you more than anything, but they're not yours. You know what I'm saying? Because when they're yours, they drive you nutso sometimes, and you got to be a parent to them. But when they're not yours, when they are yours, sometimes they act like they hate you, or they don't, but they act like that. They get those emotions going, and it's just a conflict. But then the grandchildren come along, and the grandchildren just think you're the greatest, and we just adore that. And that's a big part of our lives if we haven't let you know that already.
Right.
But
And Heather Stone says, I hope you enjoy your place. She said it looks nice back
cool.
here.
Yeah, we got a video of it. As soon as we get off the live and we run to town and get some drinks and a few things for tonight, we're going to put up our tour of this one. We're just going to go around, because I ain't going to let her move stuff around this time.
Right.
Because I heard too much negative. So she ain't touching nothing. But no, I'm just kidding. If she wants to move something around, we'll move it right back. But this place is really nice. So we got a tour coming up, and it's kind of what I call old Florida house. And I don't know if it's quite big enough for me, because I don't see any place to put guitars. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I guess it's about time for the giveaway.
Yep, the giveaway.
It's not a huge giveaway. Now, we're not millionaires, and we're not going to give away iPads and computers right now.
No.
Maybe someday, if you guys, watch enough commercials, we'll start making money, and then we'll start giving back to you guys, because that's what it's all about with us.
Yeah. We're just not there yet, but maybe one day we'll give away an iPad. Who knows?
Maybe.
And it might be loaded up with tiny home plans.
Maybe it'll be a Jackery or a solar system.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The gifts we selected kind of have somewhat to do with camping / tiny living / things like that. So keep that in mind. If you don't know us already, this is Tammy was asking, do you have anything else you want to tell? We fly by the seat of our pants. I mean, literally. She is one of the most spontaneous people I know. And I am one of the most structured, planned, let's do this, let's plan this, let's do this. And she's like, nah, it'll be all right. We'll just figure it out. We literally jumped in the truck this morning, had no place to stay, didn't know where we were going. We were driving down the freeway, scrolling through Airbnb trying to find a place. We literally found a place at like 2 o'clock for a 3 o'clock check-in. And it's just, that's just the way we do things. So we got here at this Airbnb at like 4:30, almost 5 o'clock, because we were driving and she wants to go to another little town over. It's called Niceville. And she said, I bet it's nice in Niceville. And I said, okay, let's go to Niceville. And then we start driving to Niceville and she's like, oh, look at the time. We got to get back in time to do the live. So we went all the way to Niceville and I pulled over and I said, you're going to drive because I got to talk to this person who wants to interview me. So she literally sits in the parking lot scrolling through Amazon looking for gifts. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, the clock is ticking and we head back finally after she picks out the gifts. We head back to this house and she stops at Zaxby's and I'm like, well, we got a live coming up in a few minutes. And she says, it'd be all right. So we sat in line at Zaxby's for a minute or two and she said, oh, it's too expensive. Let's go. So we ended up going over to Taco Bell and we ended up waiting on our food. We got back to the house. We finally cracked the door open and she says, oh, you got to do a walk around before the light goes and before it's too dark. So we're filming the house and I'm watching the clock. And then next thing you know, I'm like, well, we got to find, what we're going to do here. So we ended up a few minutes before the live. We don't have a hat because we're traveling. We didn't put all the names in that hat and shake them up. But we had a little random way and a little random method. We picked the winners of these gifts. They're not really super expensive. What we're doing is we're giving 3 gifts for the first 500 subscribers because those guys are the ones that, guys and gals are the ones that have been with us the longest and watched us grow. And we picked 3 gifts. We said that's going to be 3 gifts for the first 500. Now, as we continue to grow, for every 500, we're giving away just 1 gift. But so that means today there's going to be 3 gifts for our first 500 and 1 gift for our number when we hit 1,000. So that's 4 gifts. And then we got a couple little bonus kind of, I don't want to say they're gag gifts, they're just inexpensive, fun little gifts, and we're going to throw in a couple runner-up prizes. So we got 5 gifts.
Yes, we do.
And you want to announce them?
Okay, the first.
I would talk about the gift first and then say who won it.
Okay, the first thing we have is a personal crock pot. So it's a little tiny, little cool item that you can have for a tiny home or a small home, or if it's just a husband and wife and they want smaller meals, it will be pretty cool. And it's like a what was it, like a $40 deal?
40 some, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it's available in 6 colors. And it's great for even like van life. Like Vivian, she has that little cooker she carries around. It's kind of like that, but it's a little different.
It's because they can slow cook their meals. Yeah,
they can slow cook.
You're right. Van life would be a perfect thing for this too, right?
But it's available.
But for single people as well.
Yeah, but it's available in 6 colors. So when the winner contacts us, we'll tell you the colors, and then you can pick the color you want.
And that goes to Granny Nature in Stitches.
Granny Nature in Stitches.
Granny Nature in Stitches. Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yep, and we will put a separate video up with all the winners' names, or we'll contact them by comments if we can find them in the comments if they've left a comment, and we'll contact them somehow if they're not watching. But if you are watching and you won, email us 50PLUSLIFE360, our name of our channel, all smashed together, no spaces, 50pluslife360 at Gmail.
Yes.
If you're one of the winners, email us. We'll get your address and any color selection on these items. So Granny Nature in Stitches is the winner of the crock pot.
Right. And the next item is food. What?
That's the description down there.
Oh, the V-Top Mart 7-piece food storage container system.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a really, don't you know, there's these fancy containers, they're called OXO, I believe. So they're stackable containers that organize your pantry area or anywhere that you might need storage. You can even use them as garage storage if
Right,
you wanted.
right.
You, like, put your nails or your whatever in
Bolts
there, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many uses for them,
And
and they
they're-
seal really tight. So if it fell off the shelf in an earthquake or whatever, it's still going to be sealed.
And I think there's like 2 great big ones, or maybe 1 great big one, and then some smaller sizes, and they all stack together, kind of compact. So if you have a tiny home and you want to put your flour and your sugar and your spice or something, you know, some of your staple cooking things, not necessarily, I wouldn't say spices or anything like that. But
It's a 7-piece.
7-piece, and it is available in
That's Yeti, baby.
whoops,
3 colors.
3 colors.
Okay, and this goes to Tammy Joe, TAMIJO 6708.
Tammy Joe 6708. Congratulations.
Yes,
Food
congratulations.
storage containers.
Okay, the next prize is a Yeti mug, and it's a real Yeti. It's not a fake.
It's not a dupe.
Right. It's not a dupe. Yes. Heather Stone 194. You won a Yeti mug.
Oh, and I think she just commented a little while ago, so I think she's on the line. That's cool.
Well, hopefully she hung on. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
It's nice to see at least one person we're announcing on
This
one
ain't
here.
this ain't a huge Yeti or nothing like a 32 ounce. This is a 14 ounce. It's a mug, so it's got the handle with it, and it's great for coffee, tea, on the go, something like that. But that one is available in 5 colors.
Mhm.
So Heather Stone 194. Just email us at 50pluslife360 at gmail.com, and we'll get all your information and let you pick out your color.
Okay, the next item we have is the JBL speaker. It's a JBL Go 3 waterproof portable Bluetooth speaker. And waterproof as in you can just take it in the ocean, I guess.
I guess if you
It
want to
says
do that.
waterproof.
It says it's waterproof. I've got I got a little tiny one that says it's waterproof. I haven't tested it, but if it gets stuck out in the rain, I don't think it's going to hurt it. So,
Right.
waterproof versus water resistant. Waterproof is best.
And that goes to Outdoor Life 5396.
Outdoor Life 5396. You have
Yes.
won the JBL Bluetooth speaker, the Go 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to figure out, because Tammy's motorcycle, the trike, she has 2 big old speakers in a stereo system, and my poor little two-wheeler, I don't have anything. It's bare bones. And I'm trying to figure out how to mount one of those type of speakers on my handlebars so I can listen to music while I'm cruising around following her. But yeah, congratulations. And those are our four main prizes. Congratulations to everybody. Granny Nature in Stitches, Tammy Joe 6708, Heather Stone 194, and Outdoor Life 5396. Congratulations. Now we have a couple other little, you might want to call them consolation prizes, but we just thought we'd throw them in for fun, just to let everybody know that we appreciate you.
This next is a 20-pack of 24 karat gold eye treatment masks. But they're kind of mini masks. They go under your eyes, and mostly for women. I guess some guys would want to do it, but mostly women.
I'd scrape the 24 karat gold off.
Yeah.
Take it.
If you want to mine it, you can
I'd
always
mine that
pan it a
stuff.
little bit, right?
Yeah, I'd pan that though.
So anyway, that goes to Sarah Dry Bones.
Woo!
I know that's a funny
Sarah Dry
name.
Bones. Sarah Dry Bones.
But that's pretty cool. Her name is spelled Sarah, Dry, Dry, and then Bones, Bones.
Sarah Dry Bones.
Interesting name.
Congratulations, you win the eye treatment patches.
Right.
And they're kind of cool. They look like little slugs. You ever see the football players with the black paint under their eyes? That's basically, they go right there like that. Yeah. But speaking of football
That's
players, the next consolation prize next time has to go, and I forgot the name, but I mentioned the other day when we were at at solid structures, portable buildings, that the owner's last name is Mr. Hostetler. And I ask you guys, does anybody know where I've heard the name Hostetler before? And only one person answered correctly. And it was Jeff Hostetler. He was a football player, quarterback for West Virginia University around about 1983, 84, 85. And he went on to play a little bit in the NFL. But one person got that. So I'm going to hunt you up and give you a consolation prize next time.
Yes. And the next item is flashlight gloves. We thought y'all would like these, or someone would like these that maybe has a dog and they take them on a walk, or somebody that goes on walks at night or at the crack of dawn, or whenever you go on a walk, or if you don't go on a walk, you can use them in your garage, or if the lights go out, to walk around to go to the restroom.
Well,
right?
I saw these things, and they're really cool because they're not a full glove. They wrap around here and wrap around here, and then they have the cloth back here with the flashlight. So if you're out tinkering at night at your cabin or your campsite or on your car, say you have a breakdown and you got to get under the hood, man, having these things keeping them in the car or something, putting them on, hitting that button, and being able to see where your hands are. That, for a DIYer like me, that's great. I wear those little headlamps with the bands, but I get sweaty wearing those things because I'm all skin up here, and they just want to slide down and get in the way. But those things are cool.
Yeah. And the winner of that is B. Jones.
B. Jones.
Congratulations.
B. Jones.
It's a coincidence. There's at least 2 people was on here
Wow.
that actually won. So that's
awesome.
Amazing. I'm so happy that you guys
That's awesome.
attended tonight. And I'm sure that other people will see this later. Hopefully the other winners will see that they won. Any other comments on there? I know I saw something about grandchildren. We didn't see that one.
Yep, you can read them.
Okay, B. Jones says, I have a 4-year-old granddaughter and one on the way. We still have a 15-year-old in the house, and we are in our 60s.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, we love our grandchildren, and I'm sure you do too. It's a fun experience to raise grandchildren. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I wish.
Never a dull moment.
And I just, my grandchildren are so much cuter than everybody else. No, I'm just kidding. But my grandkids are so dang gorgeous, but I ain't allowed to put pictures of them on YouTube. And I just wish I could share them with you. I got a question. I thought about this the other day. Before we go, I've got a question for the viewers. And I'll put this in a regular video too so more people will see it. What other platforms do you guys like to do with social media? Do you like Facebook? Do you watch TikTok? Do you look at Instagram? Do you use something else that I'm not even aware of? Rumble? Anything like that. If you guys use any of that and you think we ought to be putting stuff on those platforms as well. We do have a Twitter or an X or whatever they call it now. We do have an Instagram and we do have a Facebook page. But we just don't use them a lot. We find our audience is big enough here on YouTube for what we're trying to do. But if you're interested in those platforms and us using them to interact with you more, please just let us know. Let us know. We'll be glad to throw that into the mix. And even TikTok. Because we do have a TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just solely focused right now on growing YouTube. But if you guys use the other platforms, would like to join us on there, there's things we can do on those platforms that we can't necessarily do on YouTube. YouTube has some restrictions. Like I don't really, if I put up a picture of my grandchild or something, I have to go through a couple of hoops and special checks. Like if I do a video of my grandchild just spinning around the pole, I have to click a box that says children appear in the video, and then it takes longer for YouTube to review it, make sure I'm not exploiting children, and hooray for them for doing that. But it just takes longer, and it impacts how quick we can get content out to you guys.
Let's see, what else do we have? A few people said congratulations to the winners, and congratulations to you guys. And let's see, B. Jones says, our 15-year-old is our daughter. She is our forever home baby. She is special needs. Oh, that's so sweet.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay. All right, everybody. Don't forget to go over and check out Mr. or B. Why I say Mr. Jones? B. Jones' page. And
also Roman.
Yeah, and
Even though Roman's just starting out, he's getting his feet wet on YouTube because he's a up and coming YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if Roman's still on, but I think he mentioned maybe starting a new channel. And I don't want to say anything about Roman's life on here. If he wants to, he can say it in the chat. But
he's just an awesome builder, right?
Yeah.
Of tiny homes. So
yeah.
Definitely check him out again at, what is the name?
Solid Structures Portable Builders.
Right.
Lineville, Alabama. If you're ever in Lineville, Alabama, that is the gold belt of Alabama. You can go panning for gold over there if you don't know it. We've done that. It's fun. Didn't get much gold, maybe a little couple specks, but there's places you can go panning for gold.
And the foothills of the Appalachians just end right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have Mount Cheehaw there. That's quite awesome to see.
Yeah,
so if you're in that area, that would be a great place
it's
to
the tallest,
find a tiny home, actually.
It is the tallest mountain, or the highest elevation in Alabama. But it's cool. We've been up there a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we have been on here a daggone hour. And I said 30 to 45 minutes, so I broke my own rules. But we appreciate everybody.
Yes, we do, and we thank y'all for watching, and
we thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing.
We do. And we thank you guys for being our winners, and all of you are winners to us, right, dear?
Yep.
Everyone is.
Thank you all for all these comments.
This looks weird.
Oh, sorry. What's going on down there?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm just reading through the comments. Make sure we didn't miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate you guys supporting us, telling us that, found your channel, you're doing a great job. We love watching your videos. Support every one of you. We do have a couple people that have all nothing but negative to say, and you're going to have that. So
they're appreciated too.
Yeah, we appreciate them. I mean, anytime anybody says anything on any of our videos, whether it's good, bad, or not, it helps us. So we appreciate it.
And we had somebody talk about we would make some big farts or something like that.
Yeah.
We just laughed that one off. Like we're like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
but it's funny.
We were talking about one of them tiny homes that didn't have the roof over the bathroom, and then they made a comment or something that said those two would fart that place up. and then.
Not really, but
But anyway, that's
hilarious.
Just and comedy is greatly appreciated because we're funny. We're funny people.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
Email again is 50pluslife360@gmail. If you're one of the winners, email us there. If you've got a color choice selection on what you won, we'll show you what the colors are, let you pick. And then we'll order it as soon as we can and have it drop shipped to you. And you won't have to do anything other than just talk to us on the email and give us your address. Yeah, because I can't ship it to someplace I don't know.
And we'll see you in a few weeks when we do our next giveaway.
Yep.
It won't be long, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're already over 1,300 subscribers today.
We're getting closer. 1,500 is our next threshold for another giveaway. So, yeah.
And if
we might see you in a few days.
Yeah, and every subscriber gets the chance. It's like, we don't say, oh, you were part of the first 500, so you don't get a chance.
Right.
Everybody gets a chance in every drawing. So, but we're just enjoying doing this and enjoy you guys watching us. And send us your comments, your thoughts. If you want us to do something different, something better, we'll talk about the air exchangers in the future, and we appreciate it. You can always email us if you don't want to leave a public comment. And if we can remember to do it, but we're too spontaneous, we typically just jump up and go. But I mean, if we're going to be somewhere that we know we're going to be somewhere, we'll tell you ahead of time. And if you live in the area and you want to meet up, let us know.
Matter of fact, we just may head to St. Augustine, Florida tomorrow.
Really? I thought we was going to Ocala.
Well,
See?
we're going to do that too.
I
but,
can't plan
we're going to kind
anything.
of stop in Ocala, Florida tomorrow, and then we're going to kind of move on to St. Augustine because we used to live there.
Yep.
It was one of the places we used to live.
All right, guys. Look for the next video here in about an hour. It's going to be the tour of the
Thank you.
Airbnb tiny home we're in now, and hope you enjoy that one. And just like I said, I say this a lot. If you got Instagram, you got TikTok, you got Facebook, you got share our video. There's a little thing down below the videos. It looks like a little arrow with a crooked pointing like a right-hand turn only
Thank
lane.
you.
Click that and just share it on. Next thing, pop on Facebook and say, hey, I like these guys. You guys ought to watch them. And that'll help us tremendously and help us to be able to give back to you guys. Alrighty? And Tammy still responded to comments, but we thank y'all so much, and we hope that you are blessed beyond what we are all worthy of being blessed. And that is a lot.
Yes.
So we thank you. We appreciate it. And y'all have a good night. And we haven't made up our new sign off yet, but we're going to come up with something.
We will eventually.
So for now,
right
I'm just going to say bye.
Bye,
See you
y'all.
later.
Bye, y'all.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks for coming, Dee.
Have a good night.